Well, hello everybody. Thank you for joining me today at Coffee Talk with Vicky. I have the one and only Rosemary Kelleher here. She is a superb realtor, and besides that, she also is a superb real estate coach. Um, I can't say enough good things about her. Um, she's coached quite a few agents in my office and myself, and I just want to give the show to Rosemary because we have a lot to talk about
Oh,
and such little time to do it. So grab your coffee, your pen and paper, ask your questions in the comments, and we'll respond to them as we go along. And enjoy this session. And here you go, Rosemary. The platform is yours.
awesome. Thanks. Hi, Vicky. It's so great to see you.
Oh, great to have
Uh,
you.
yes, thank you. Just a little bit about me. I've been in real estate for, oh God, it's going on now. What we're both almost closing in on 3 decades, Vicky, the two of us.
Old, I may say it.
But we look very young.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've been doing real estate for over 26 years now, and I've managed 28 real estate offices and started out a long time ago in real estate, and coaching and teaching agents and managing agents is something that I'm super passionate about. I've worked for all the big companies, the Remax, the Keller, the everyone. And one of the subjects that, and Vicki knows this, that I'm most passionate about is open houses. And it doesn't matter today where you are at in your business, whether you're new, whether you're seasoned, um, this topic it's for you. Um, and part of my passion about this is because it is the only activity that people are actively engaging in that are interested in buying or selling or investing in real estate. So open houses is not like a hobby, like kayaking or painting. It's something people go to with a purpose. When I started out in real estate, my first listing was a neighbor, and I've been going to open houses looking for a property for us to live in. And I go to open houses, and I'm a stalker. I'll admit it. I'm an open house stalker. And I go in and out. I was looking for a house, kind of quasi like just looking. And then I got more engaged in the process of finding a home for our family. And so I go into some of them and people would be like, hi. And I'd say, oh, we're just looking. And then they kind of blow me off. There'd be one sign, a sign in sheet. I'd look around, and I loved going to them, and I love noticing the differences at each open house, not just the properties themselves, but how the agents responded and how they basically hosted. Because when you're having an open house, you're hosting a party, in my opinion. Don't you agree?
Absolutely.
So so think about it. So you're going in and out of all these open houses, and people are like, yeah, sign in. If you have questions, let me know. And I'm like, it can't be that good. They're not very excited about this place.
Or they're sitting there on their cell phone while people.
Oh yeah, they're on their cell phone going, hey, if you need a sheet, grab a sheet, and they're not even paying attention to you. And so when I finally got a little bit more interested in different houses, we found a house through an open house, believe it or not. And then 6 months later, I get my real estate license. And 1 month into my first month of having my real estate license, one of my neighbors was like, oh gosh, Rosemary, I see you walking the baby up and down the street and you're handing out your Canton Town News, because I lived in Canton, Massachusetts. And you can't do it now, but I'd stick flyers in all the mailboxes, and it was called the Canton Housing Update. Everything that was on the market, everything that was sold, all the open houses that were coming up. It was really, really exciting. So one of my neighbors actually hired me to list their house. So I gave it a lot of thought, and I said, wow, I need to make a big splash. All my other neighbors are looking at this. I need to have a lot of people there. To me, I was invited to come into someone's home and host a party. So it was huge. I was super.
You're
Was
hosting you're hosting a party on behalf of the seller.
Yeah, yeah. And the sellers. So think about it. My sellers. When you think about open houses too, your sellers are like, everybody in the world's coming, and it's going to be mobbed, and you'll need a traffic detail. Buyers are coming up starry eyed, like, this could be our home. We could be taking our kids trick or treating in this neighborhood. And so I thought about it, and I met with the sellers, and I said, this is my first one. I'm super excited to list your property. And all the agents in my office were giving me advice, like, put up one sign, no, put up two signs, make sure you have a sign-in sheet. And they were giving me this advice, and I'm thinking, sounds kind of ho-hum. It doesn't sound really exciting. So I went and met with the sellers. And as a typical mom, you know the deal, Vicki. We have lists for lists for lists. So I
Right.
had lists from my seller, all the things I wanted them to do and work on to make sure the house just looked like, wow. I had lists of things that I wanted to bring and do. And those lists have morphed into a book that I'm almost done with, because I've taught amazing open houses for years and years and years. And the lists, nobody can do everything in the book. Nobody can do everything on the list. But that first listing, it was going to be like the sun and the spotlights were all going to shine on it. And so I said to my sellers, they were like, "Oh God, what have we done? We've unleashed the Kraken here." And so I said to them, "You want it?" They were moving to Florida and they wanted to go before the winter. And I said, "Okay, we're going to do 3 days of open houses. This is not just going to be one party. This is like a weekend bash. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday." So they were like, "Oh my gosh, really?" And I said, "Well, think about it. People that won't be around during the weekend are really overbooked. I need to make sure that they can come. So I'll give them Friday night or Saturday afternoon in between, like, soccer games and all the rest of it, and then Sunday." Well, I went to my office, had done these fabulous flyers, put out signs early in the week, 3 day open house, Friday 4 to 6, Saturday 4 to 6, Sunday 2 to 4. And the people in my office were like, "Oh, we don't do things like that. Like, you're in real estate, and we do like Sundays, like 12 to 2 or 1 to 3." And I'm like, "Yeah, but this has to be spectacular. I'm super excited. It's my first one." So long story short, I run with the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday open houses. And of course, my flyers were all over town. During those days, you would take an ad in the newspaper. Now it's social media, and it was everywhere. Like, you would have had to have been like living under a rock if you didn't know this open house was happening all 3 days. So I had balloons, I had like a bazillion signs everywhere. The house was just in great shape. I had information on everything you can imagine, not just in the kitchen at the little setup table with the welcome sign in. I had information packets, I had buyer packets. It was crazy, right? So Friday, mobbed. Saturday, mobbed. Sunday, mobbed. Sunday night, sold. And so that formula is something that I've taken through 2.5 decades later and just expanded on it. And now when I meet with sellers and my coaching clients meet with sellers, I'm like, this is such an opportunity. Blow it out of the water. Do it
Oh,
Friday night. Do it Saturday. Do it Sunday. Do it so that you have a commuter open house on Wednesday. See, my thinking has always been, do it bigger, do it better, stand out, get noticed. Because you and I both know, Vicki, it's not just buyers looking to buy that house that come to the open house. It's potential sellers looking to hire someone with a lot of energy and a lot of spark and a lot of
Absolutely.
enthusiasm. Don't
I'll
you
tell
agree?
I'll tell you a quick story. I had an open house, and from that open house, I got 3 listings from neighbors on the street
Yep.
because they
Yep.
saw how I held it.
Well, and that's the thing. And from my first open house in my neighborhood, I sold multiple homes up and down the street, not one time, two times, three times, some of them throughout my career. And people would come and be like, whoa, we've been to open houses for like the past month. We've never seen anything like that. And I'm like, great. I'm glad you've never seen anything like this. People remember. People remember people that are enthusiastic. Buyers will be like, we don't want this house, but we want to work with you. And I'm like, great, super. But the name of the game when someone's giving you the opportunity to host a party and sell their house, my feeling has always been the best terms, the quickest amount of time, and the most amount of traction and activity. It's a win. And we all know the longer a property sits on the market, the less the return.
Absolutely.
So the more you put into it from the beginning, I give sellers all my lists of what I expect they're going to do, what I'm going to do, how we're going to advertise open houses. And when I take a listing, I always say to them, be prepared. The first weekend is the most important. When it's priced right, shows great, marketed fabulously, and it's accessible through open houses, then we're going to get results. If
Now,
stars have to align.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
In this market that we're just coming in from, right? Um, it's been a little tough, because open houses are more important now than they were
Way
probably
more
the
important.
last year or 2 because you didn't need to hold an open house, you just had to have a line of people come into the door. So, I
Yeah.
think now it's like open houses are more important than they were in the past 2 years.
Well, it's funny. During the past 2 years, I never negated open houses from even the crazy times that we'd have. During those times, I had a registration table set up. I had lines down the street. I took lots of pictures. And yeah, that was easy. Everybody was coming. You were going to get multiple offers. But it's more important now as the shift, and we've gone through shifts in this market. You and I, Vicki, we've talked about this. We've gone through shifts. There has never been a more important time to stand out in your business.
Absolutely.
And the way to do it is to be actively available, make your properties actively available. If I could do open houses, or my coaching clients that don't have any business, if they could do open houses every day of the week, I would. I'd have them do open houses, even if they don't have a listing, do it for other people in your office every day of the week. And people always say, well, it's only Sundays. And who cares? Stand out. Commuter open houses. I brought commuter open houses to the forefront of Massachusetts real estate. And people are like, what's a commuter open house? And I'm like, people go away. Hello. Give them an opportunity on a Wednesday night, a Thursday night, a Friday night.
Yeah, it's easy to stop in after work and before you go home.
Absolutely. But if you have no business in your pipeline, or your pipeline seems to be running low, people that come to open houses, they're buying, they're selling, they're investing, or they're looking. They're looking for information. Maybe they're not a buyer now, but oh my God, they came to something they fell in love with and they are a buyer. But now, getting yourself out there, engaging and doing open houses, it's the activity that people are going to gain information and possibly buy or possibly sell. I've had more people that, like you said, you got 3 listings from one open house. Part of my strategy and my goal every time I do an open house is number one, to sell the house. Best terms, best price, best conditions as fast as possible. Some of my other goals are to pick up, obviously, good, solid buyers. If they can't buy that house, help them buy other houses. My other goal is to pick up at least one listing, which historically I do because I blow away sellers with sellers are like, I've never seen agents do this. And I said, well, that's because you found one in a million. Let's go. Where do you want to list? And the other thing that I do as part of my goal is twofold. One is my business partners are always involved. And what do I mean by that? I have a lender, or I have the lender information there. I have my attorney information. I have home inspector information. I set up so there's information not just on the kitchen table or on the kitchen pretty granite countertop. There's information in every room of the house. So people are like, wow, what information's in the next room? All of my business partners are involved in all of my open houses in some way, shape, or form. The second thing I do is that two-part is I invite the neighbors. I want the neighbors to know who I am. Not only do I invite them, I remind them, and I get out in front of the open houses early in the week. I invite them. I offer to text them information, because who is the most who is the most involved in after the sellers of a property? Who's the most impacted is the word I'm looking for. It's the neighbors. So I invite the neighbors. I offer to keep them up to date on the property. I get those neighbors engaged. And the other reason I get the neighbors engaged is because if someone's driving by and sees a neighbor walking a dog and goes, oh, that house for sale, it has 3 bedrooms. And they're like, yeah, it has 3 bedrooms. No, they didn't see the addition with 2 more bedrooms or a master suite. I want to educate them, and I want them to be part of a really positive process.
I mean, now more than ever, you need to show your value. You really do, and having
Absolutely.
an open house like you say to have it, it does show your value and it shows your knowledge. And you don't have to be a seasoned agent to do it. You just have
Oh,
to do it right.
yep. You got to do, something, put it into your head. How, every single time I do an open house, I always have in my head, and now you have to be a little bit more cognizant that you're being listened to with all the speakers and Alexa and all the rest of it. You should put into your head that you're being listened to and watched. And years ago, before Alexa and all the rest of it, I used to think that every person coming through the door was a friend or a family member of the sellers. So I better be on. I
Absolutely.
better be
Absolutely.
spectacular. I better be awesome. And even if I didn't know the answers to some of the questions, I knew how to get them. Same as you're starting out in real estate. That's okay. You're not. I wasn't sure when that addition, what exact year it was put on, but I'm going to find out. So the engagement factor of being really excited, thinking that everybody coming through the door is directly going back to the sellers, showing not just your value, but your enthusiasm and your pride, your professional pride, that this is an amazing opportunity and I'm going to do the best I can possibly do. That radiates. People want to work with enthusiastic people, with people that bring the best of who they are, even if they're not the best at what they do. So
Absolutely.
just,
Absolutely. I mean, I have to say, I've seen on Facebook Rosemary's open houses when she puts them out there. You go like it's open house on
bonkers.
steroids. But you know what? It's great, and I know when you train the agents in my office, some of them listen to what you said,
Yeah,
and they're still doing it. I see it on Facebook, I see it on
yeah.
social media that they're still doing it, and they've had great success with it. And, you show your enthusiasm as well as when you teach with you practice what you teach. You really
Always.
do.
I
There's a
try
lot of
to be,
coaches out there that don't practice what they teach, and I have
or
to
they did
say
it 30
most
years
of
ago.
them still do.
Well, the thing of it is, to get people really excited about real estate, you have to also be doing it and understand it and be current. And I've had every single coach from A to Z, and they're all fabulous. Um, but one of the things that I love to, and I'm very proud of, is I do, as you said, what I teach. Um, and I'm very enthusiastic because I know if people, you can't do all the things that I encourage people to do for an open house, but if you do a couple more, you're standing out. You're standing out, and people are taking notice. And when you're trying to build your brand in real estate, it's about getting noticed. It's about getting talked about. It's about people seeing that you're different and you want to be different in this business, especially when the market's shifting. People are going to choose people that are positive, enthusiastic, that are going the extra mile. So let's talk about some of the things you mentioned that I was teaching some of the agents about what I do to be different. So, as I said before, I involved all my business partners. I have a program where it's business partnerships, and I have business partnerships that are involved not just in open houses, but in every aspect of my real estate business and my coaching clients' real estate business. If I need to level up the playing field and there's a lot of people going for a listing appointment, I'll bring a lender in. I'll bring a home inspector in. So business partnerships are super huge. But in open houses, you have to show that you're more than just one person. In fact, when I talk to agents about, how many people on your team, and they say, oh, it's just me. Well, you know me. I'm always like, it's not just you. It's you. It's your broker. It's your lender. It's your admin. It's your social media people. Like, none of you are flying alone, and you need to show that through in an open house. I do a ton of work with social media for open houses. I get everybody involved and engaged. I take lots of pictures. I take pictures the week before while I'm prepping the property for an open house. I get the signs up, the sign writers. I take pictures and videos of that. There's so many different aspects or different areas that you just go kudos on, but it becomes part of you as you move throughout your industry. It becomes part of you. Also, the neighborhood engagement, making sure that everybody's invited and everybody has great flyers and information. There's so many different components that I weave in together that become a strategy. I have a business plan for open houses, and I help my agents and my clients create a business plan around open houses because it can always grow. It can always be better. I don't do one balloon. I do 50 million balloons. I do a ton of signs, not just one
And
sign.
you do. I've seen it, and you do
I do,
it.
and I do. I created this past couple of years the Kelleher's Kids Club. I got stickers.
Yep, I've seen that too.
Every kid that comes, they get a prize. They get a Kelleher Kids Club bag. Just a little bag, crayons, and a picture of a house they can draw. And because I've found through the years of really studying open houses, the longer, first of all, the kids coming and they're being dragged along and it's boring for them. Or one has to sit in the car with the kids while the other one comes in and they switch places. I'm like, no, bring them in, bring them in. I have hula hoops and bubbles out back in the yard, and they all get a Kelleher Kids Club bag. And wow, I've changed their attitude. They like it here. The longer the kids stay and are happy at an open house, the more people can see themselves being there, or they're just so grateful that the kid is not, can we go, can we go, can we go? I have
Absolutely.
I have hostess gifts for the people that come. I always give a hostess gift to an agent that will come and do a preview. It's a party. So I was brought up, you always have a hostess gift. So I have something for the kids, I have something for the adults, I have something for the agents previewing.
Now
I want,
that's interesting that you say that. You have something for the agents.
I
That
do.
like that's
I,
like the stuff you never hear that.
I always have something for the agents. And usually what I do is I'll put like a lottery card or, whatever it is. I have a whole storage room of stuff. Don't tell my husband, he'd die if he saw my storage.
I think he knows.
He knows. But I have a storage room and stuff because you know something in this relationship, transactions come and go. But as we both know, agents, we work together. It always comes around. You run into the same people all the time. And I want them to know how much I appreciate them taking the time to stop by and preview the property or bring their clients. I want to say thank you. You came to my party. I want to thank you. And so it's super exciting when you can give people something and say thank you, or think about this house and let me know if you have questions. But I found that people just they react. That like I want to get reactions out of people, and by giving them a hostess gift, telling them to look in every room because there's information on the buying process, the selling process. There's information on some of my business partners. Just take your time and wander around. In fact, one of the fun things that I do is sometimes with little kids, I'll do a scavenger hunt. I'll give them a clipboard and have them do a scavenger hunt, and then I give them a prize at the end. So
Oh,
I
that's neat.
really involve kids in a big way because I want them to enjoy the process. How many times have you and I, Vicki, heard, the parents go, well, James, do you like this house? Do you want to live here? And the kid's like, no, I don't like it. And you're like, kid, like it. You and I hear that all the time. Susie, what do you think? They're bored. They want to get back in the car, play on their little Game Boy.
Yeah.
And so you have to make it a party. You have
Or it's
to,
stressful for the parents too when they're looking at the property and then they gotta worry about the kids, and then
yeah,
they're stressing out, so they really can't take the time and look like they
they
should be.
can't. But now, with even less properties on the market, even though the inventory is low and the rates are climbing and all the rest of it, it's more important that they get that valuable time to really take it all in. So, one of the other things that I've been doing as part of my house prep strategy is in every room, I have a little plexiglass stand that points out some of the key features of the room. And those key features of the room kind of help them to settle down and really get excited about what's in that room because their kids dragging them and they're like, wait, and they can take pictures of these stands that I have in all the rooms.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they can take pictures of the stands, and room is 14 by 16. Carpet was just installed, room freshly painted. Check out the new Pella windows, and they'll take screenshots of them. And it makes them feel like they're just taking in the whole experience, and you're making sure from the seller's perspective too, people aren't missing things.
Right.
Because the sellers always say, well, did you tell them about all the windows are Pella? Yep. Not only did I tell them, it's on a sign. Did you tell them the roof or the heating system is new? Yep. Not only did I tell them, they scanned a sign and got to see that. So make it exciting, make it fulfilling, make it comprehensive. You can't possibly, like I said, do all the things, but you can engage your business into a business planning strategy.
I think the thing is realtors don't look at houses, and I have to say I was one of them. It's a waste of time. It's boring. And they can be, but it's
Yeah,
also if you don't price the property right, no one's gonna come. It's all
right,
about the pricing.
right. Yep, it is. Well, you know something, through the years, I've gotten a million agents that say, and I keep copies of them, open houses don't work. Open houses are for the agents and not for the sellers. Stop. The mindset is open houses work when you put some effort into it, when you are excited about it, when you stand. Sellers that don't think they want open houses, that's because you haven't educated them in the value of it. People look, traffic of people come through your open houses that wouldn't come if you're not hosting them.
Right.
So, as I say, when I started looking for a house, that was part of my process, part of my strategy. I'll go in and out of open houses, kind of get a feel for houses I like, styles and whatnot, get some ideas. Well, you miss that whole group of people if you're not doing them. So, to me, when you say they don't work, it's because you need to change your mindset. If the sellers don't want them, it's because you haven't educated them. And it's the one activity in real estate that consumers are definitely going through. And those are opportunity times to meet people.
Well, I've had sellers say that they don't want an open house, they don't want strangers in the house. Well, guess what? Your house is listed. It's
I
gonna
always
be
say to them,
strangers in the
a
house.
stranger's going to buy your house. What do you care? And they're like, what? And then I've heard what am I going to do on a Friday night? You're going to have an open house on a Friday night? It's pizza night. Go out for pizza. What do you care if you're out for pizza and I'm selling your house? Like, is Sundays the only day that I can sell your house? Or Rosemary, like all these people are going to come through, and oh, okay, do you want them to come through one at a time throughout the week? You know, Monday at 12 o'clock. So you get ready at 10 a.m. on Monday, you spend a couple hours cleaning and vacuuming. No, I'm giving you full Monty, full blast. Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, sometimes even Monday nights. And we're just going to get it all going throughout the weekend rather than these little one-offs. So when you change their mind and change their thinking, they're all in like Flint. And that's your job, to get them excited about getting. And I always say to them, well, when you have open houses, people see competition. That's good for you. When you have one-off showings, they don't see competition. They spend their time, they take longer maybe than necessary, and then you have to get ready the next day again for one more group. Come on. Like,
We have a message from Joshua West. He said, "Love this. Going to incorporate some of these ideas, some of these things into our services. Thank you both for presenting."
oh, cool. That's awesome. Well, you know something, I will tell you, one of the other things is and my strategies, I have like all these different chapters that I go into in that 3-hour presentation of fine details that I'm going to be doing. And one of the chapters is about making sure that your engagement level with the people that come is high engagement. So, people say, well, I get them to sign in. There's so many ways to get people to sign in now. You can do all the apps. There's open house apps. They can sign in the open house app. They can sign in on a piece of paper. They can sign in a register. But first of all, people have to sign in order to tour the property. Your safety as a real estate professional is paramount to everything. So if you feel a little uncomfortable saying you have to sign in or you can't come, just blame it on the seller.
Yeah.
The seller said, anybody coming through has to sign in, and it's for my safety. And I bluntly say that to people.
And
My
people
seller,
understand when you say that. I mean, honestly, and
yeah,
I personally like the apps because
I
they have to
do.
put the right information in or they can't go forward. Because how many
They get
times you have a sign in,
confused.
you can't read it, or they put a fake thing or whatever. And it is for your safety because you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. And so I had an open house, and one guy was like, I'm not signing in. I'm a neighbor, blah, 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 blah. And two other guys came up upon him and said, You will sign in, or we'll help her throw you out.
Oh, wow.
But once you mention safety, people that are honest and they're actually looking, they respect the fact that it's safety. So I blame it on the seller. The seller says everybody that tours, and it's also for my safety. But do you know how many people, Vicky, get those open house registers? Everybody signs in and all the rest of it. They do nothing with it. Nothing.
Absolutely.
Or they say, on Monday, I'm going to thank people. I might call people. Monday, my friend, from a Saturday, a Sunday open house is too late. You missed the boat. So what I like to use is an app that some of you might know. It's called Pic Collage.
Yeah.
Or you can use Canva, and I do them in advance. And it has a picture of the house, my picture, and it says, thank you for stopping by my open house at 12 Elm Street. And the minute those people come in, just as they're leaving, they sign in, and just as they're leaving, they're getting into their car, boom, I text it to them.
Well, that's a great idea.
And they're like, oh my God, that's the house we were just in. That's the girl. My picture might not look the same that I did at the open house, but that's the girl that just did the open house. It's immediate engagement. Later on, I have another pic collage and I text it to them. I don't just use words. I use words in a picture because people don't just like words. They like a picture. They like vibrant. So I do a little pic collage or a little Canva and I text it to them immediately because I want to continue that engagement. They came to my party. I want to thank them and I want to engage with them. And I think it's really important that you don't wait, because once you wait, you lose that connectivity that you've built with someone when they've come in.
Especially with this day and age now, like when we didn't have, I mean, we were doing this before they had the internet pretty much,
Yeah,
and we used to
newspapers.
send thank you cards. Now with technology, you have so much more opportunity to make those point of contacts with people.
Oh,
There's no excuse that you're not doing it. I mean, there's apps that can do it for you. You can use Canva, which I'm a big fan of.
yeah,
Pic Collage is really a great
yeah.
one, and Ripple is a good one, but
Oh, Ripple's great.
that's a great one. They can get, and everybody can get the free version of it, but it's really
Absolutely.
pennies for what it really costs. Pennies. I mean,
Honestly,
under $15, really.
it's nothing to do, and people will come to my live presentations or I'll go to offices, and people will be like, oh my God, it sounds like it's going to be a fortune to do these types of open houses that Rosemary's talking about. Does not cost, it's pennies. All the things. I'm very practical. I'm very pragmatic. I'm a mom of 4 grown kids, so I've done this since the kids were born. I've never spent a lot to give a lot in these open houses. So the apps, like you said, they're free apps. Your MLS costs you nothing. Your Facebook, your social media, your signs. You should have signs, balloons. Go to the dollar store. They're $1. Go to the dollar store, the Dollar Tree, crayons and coloring things for kids. Like these open houses, they can be wow on a very limited budget.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
you got the Dollar Tree store, you got
my
Christmas tree
gosh,
shop. There's so many places you can get things so inexpensive.
absolutely. You don't have to break the bank to stand out more than the people that have a sign-in sheet, and they're just welcome. You don't have to spend a fortune to stand out, but you have to change your mindset. And that too costs nothing to do. Changing your mindset, getting excited about it. Like all the people that are coming, you never had a better position in your career than to have an open house and people actually coming that are thinking of buying or selling. Where else do you get that? I mean, you can't go to the supermarket. I wonder who's buying or selling up and down these aisles. There's no other activity in real estate that will gain you opportunities of making connections than open houses. It's exciting, especially like I've had seasoned veterans go, Rosemary, I will never do an open house again the same because I'd be ashamed after knowing all the things that I'm not doing. And I've had new agents go, oh my gosh, I don't have any listings, but I have the opportunity to do an open house for another agent. I'm like, just make it wow.
And I
Just,
can guarantee you, if you're a new agent, there are agents in your office that are
yeah,
probably seasoned like us that don't wanna do it because they're busy out there getting listings and
yes,
or working buyers that they they'd rather give it to a newer agent to handle for
yeah,
them. So take that opportunity. Don't look to get paid to do the open house. You're getting paid by
no,
the information that you're getting. I can't tell you how many times I've had agents go, "Well, how much will you pay me to do the open house?" They don't see the value in it, like what you're getting
mm,
for it. You're getting opportunity to get all the leads. You might even sell the house and represent the buyer,
that's
on that
right,
property. And listing agents, don't be greedy.
right.
You have this agent that's gonna do I mean, I've seen agents where they're listing the property and they say, "Well, I get all the leads that people are interested in the house, and you could take the rest." Or they
Mm,
wanna charge them a fee or something. Just give it to them.
just
They're
give it
doing
to
you
them.
a huge favor by holding that open house for you.
Plus, you're not going to follow up. You're
Yes.
more than likely not going to follow up. But the thing of it is I really believe that every agent, and you and I have talked about this before, this time of year especially, you need to have a business plan. And
Absolutely.
and the business planning clinic that I teach is like 40 chapters long because as you and I know, there's a million different components to our real estate business. And if you're not pulling together a business plan and sharing it, so a business plan to me is very fluid. It has all the different chapters of your business. It's something you share. It's something you're constantly tweaking. But one section of your business plan should always be on open houses, how you're going to do them, and throughout the year, how you're going to add to them. But your mission and vision statements for open houses should be something like this: to stand out, to give the sellers the absolute best representation and accessibility to traffic by doing open houses that will engage people, excite people. And as an agent, I will make sure that I get the best terms, the quickest amount of time, the most amount of money. But it also, as an agent, part of my business plan is to make sure that I have all these people coming to the open house going into my pipeline. I have sellers that will see me as a standout. So I expect to get at least one listing. And I have buyers that might not be interested in that property, but they want to work with me because they know I'm excited about the process.
Right.
So part of your vision and then mission statements in your open house chapter of your business planning for your real estate business should be really excited about what is an open house or multiple open houses. What should they do for my business? You have to take it beyond the transactional mindset and think about open houses as a component of doing your business. How can you make them better? How can you make them more? How can you make them stand out? Because they will help you to build your brand along with your bottom line income. 100%. If you think about it as a business. And I think
And
about
that's the
it as a
problem
business.
that's the problem I find with a lot of agents is that they don't look at their business as a business.
No.
When you get your license, you became a business owner. You opened up a business under the
Yes.
umbrella of a brokerage,
Yep.
and you have to treat it as such, and this is one of the components.
Of all the offices that I've managed, and I've managed offices for Remax and KW and all the rest of it, by this time, right around November, before everybody goes off to Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and all the rest of it, I insisted everybody had a business plan that they shared with me. Now, to me, a business plan, yes, you can write something down on a cocktail napkin, or you can, the devil's always in the detail. So the more detail, the longer it is, the more time and effort you put into it. So I like people to always do it before November 15th. Share it. Writing a business plan and not sharing it is like cooking the whole dinner and not having anybody come. It's
Absolutely.
ridiculous. So writing a business plan, sharing it with your broker, sharing it with other peers, sharing it with your spouse or your partner, so people can see the investment that you're putting into it. There are so many different chapters in your business plan. Break your business down and go deep. Go deep into the planning, and you can't be an award winner in every single category. That takes years and years, and I always say to people, I strive every day to do more and do better, but you have to have the framework, just like any good business, with business planning. And like I was telling you before, I do this whole seminar with business planning. It's like sometimes it's 2 or 3 days, because you really break down every aspect. And with open houses, it's multiple pages long. What am I going to do? What are my thoughts? What are sellers thinking? How can I involve the neighbors? How can I involve my business partners? And putting that in writing gives you a business plan for every time you do the open houses. Um, Someone once asked me, getting a little off the business planning, what property is a property that you wouldn't do an open house at?
That's a good question.
Yes. So I wonder if anyone has the answer to that. To me, there are 9 different types of open houses there. And just to highlight some of the few, there's broker open houses, there's public open houses, there's commuter open houses, there's neighborhood open houses, because I do private neighborhood open houses for the neighbors. There's luxury VIP open houses. There's open houses that have a theme attached to them. Like this week, I'd be doing open houses with kids in costumes and they get a prize. There's open houses with like a special featured person, like maybe a staging or interior design person that's going to be there. There's open houses that sponsor a charity. So usually in November, I'll ask people to bring canned goods so I can drop them off at the different places to help the less fortunate. And during December, I'll have open houses, Toys for Tots. There's about 9 different types of open houses. And one of the open houses that I have doesn't actually have a house on it. Walk the lot.
Oh, yeah.
And people say, oh my God, but why do you have an open house sign? There's no house there. And I'm like, but I see a house. What kind of house do you see? And they say, what? And they like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. I'm like, wait, on this lot, you can build a 4,000 square foot house. Would you want a ranch style? Would you want a colonial style? And my landowners are like, wow, like that's fabulous, because I want people to get into the neighborhood and see the land. I want them to see the location, and then I give them information on the land. But people have asked me, like I said to you, what is the only property that you should not ever open house? Because there's houses with people that hoard things or have too many knickknacks. And look, you can only do as much as your selling is willing to team up with you. The only property that you shouldn't have people come through is a property with someone that might be sick or elderly, that's confined to being in the house, that can't leave the house. So everything else is fair game. As long as the sellers are out, you should be in. And you should be in as often as you can. And if you only have one listing, that should become your brand new office until you get it sold.
That's a good way of putting it.
Really, I mean, you tell the sellers every day when you're taking their kids to activities, they go to soccer and gymnastics and cheer from 3 to 5. I'll be there every day from 3 to 5. But here's the reality, as you and I both said. If a house is priced right, because there's only three things that sell a property: the price, location, and condition. So if a property is priced right, it's a location that has like great features. You can't change the location, so you have to really build off of the awesomeness of that location. And you market it and advertise it and expose it. Properties sell. They will take a little longer as the rates might be going up, but renting is still 100%. We all know that.
Right.
And so home ownership, people need to not be worried. It's not, the American dream has not died because the rates are now normalizing. You and I both know that. Open houses is a great time to educate people that come through and go, oh my God, if I bought this house a year ago, the payments would have been $500 less or whatever. You're right. The payments would have been $500 less, but you're renting, you're paying 100% of somebody else's mortgage.
That's absolutely correct.
The other thing you should be educating people through, especially in the shift to market, and open houses are a great opportunity to do that, is unlike before when we saw it in 2005, 6, 7, 8, when we had the real recession, the lending industry was part of the problem. We know that. I'm not going to say anything because I have a lot of lending friends that I love and I don't want to speak ill. But the lending industry has gotten very proactive, knowing that the rates would have to go up. So there's buy down programs. There's, buying points down to make their payments less. There's shorter term loans for the ARMs, the adjustable rate mortgages, because this is just a small blip in season and time where the rates might go up, and in a year they can refinance and then go back to that $500 less payment in a year. But jumping in and paying yourself through home ownership, it's still a reality, it's still a dream, and it's our job as real estate professionals, especially while we're at open houses, to educate people about the opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. And then when you're educating them, you're showing your value, you're putting people at ease. Because I can't tell you how many people right now are calling me saying, "Oh, the rates are going up, they're going up." Yes, that's life. They do go up. I keep saying when I had my first house, it was 11.8. So,
Yeah,
and that was good. That was a
that
good
was
rate,
awesome.
So, and that was back in the mid 80s, the late 80s.
Exactly. But as I said, a lot of our lending partners, they're already prepared for all this. They have programs for this
And then
to help.
also what you should know is, like, when you have your open house, know the town that you're in and see if there's any
Mhm.
programs in that town for down payment assistance, because some towns do have that. And
Yes.
no Mass Housing, no Rhode Island Housing, or whatever
Yep.
programs that are in your area to help your buyers with the down payment assistance. Or, some people are qualified for it, and they don't even know because their realtor doesn't know to ask these questions. But I say, and I know you do this, have that information
Yes.
out there for people, because people assume when they can't do something, and it's our job to educate them that, well, yeah, you can if you do this. So know the
Right.
products that sell your product.
Exactly. And the thing of it is whenever I get a listing or my coaching clients get a listing, and you and I both know we like to carry about 3 lenders that we're always rotating off of. I expect, and I've expected it for 25 plus years, when I get a listing or I have an open house going on, those 3 lenders are going to send me feature sheets.
Yeah.
The minute I get it, the minute I'm going to do open houses, and I put them in 8.5 by 11 plastic plexiglass stands. How can someone buy this house? What is the program? What are the rates? What are the breakdowns? What is special programs that you have? I get 3 of them. Every time I get a listing, every time a lender knows I'm doing an open house, I put it out there, and lenders are like, let me send you sheets. Yes, send them. Post them all over the place in the property. How can you afford this house? How much will it cost? What are some special programs? That's on. I leverage my partners for their professionalism to help me, to help consumers, customers, and clients have opportunities, be aware, educated about opportunities, about home ownership. If you're not leveraging your lending partners and your other business partners for these reasons, you're missing the boat.
Absolutely.
You and I have had this conversation 100 times. Agents will go, well, I didn't get any leads from my lenders. I don't want. Yes, it would be great, but I know I'm not going to get them. I'm not going to say I don't want them because it's great, but they're not going to give them to you. What they're going to give you is their professionalism. They're going to support you in open houses. And that collateral can be in your buyer packets. As you know me, I'm crazy about having a buyer packets and seller packets already ready with all kinds of lender information that's current.
When you
And
have a great team behind you and your client,
team.
your referrals will come because you did a good service. That's one of my pet peeves is when I have agents go, well, I don't get any leads from this person. Well, you're not going
Great
to. Don't
service.
even think about it. If you do, it's a bonus,
Yes. Yep.
But
Yep.
like, look for great service instead of getting something out of that person. Look for them to give great service, and it will come back.
And I want agents to realize, because every time I stand up and I'll give a performance and speaking and stuff, and there's, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,000 people, I'll say, how many people have a team? Raise your hand or just stand up. If there's people sitting down, I want to cry for them. Every single agent has a team. They have brokers, they have admins, they have the brand and the company that they've joined. If they're a realtor, they have all their peers and professionals. We all have teams. You just have to take your mindset that you're not alone in this industry, understand who's on your team and what part they play in all of the activities and functions that they're in your business, especially amazing open houses, especially.
Absolutely. I have to say, Rosemary, you gave us so much information and actually in an hour's time, but I know there's so much more because
Oh my God.
I've been to your
Yes.
seminars.
Yeah.
Um, what's the one thing you would want somebody to take away from this conversation?
If you want business, if you want more business, if you want to ride through the media and the crazy, you know, rates are going up and the market is shifting, I want you to laser focus on, don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about the market and the gas prices and this and that. I want you to laser focus. I want you to do open houses because people will come through, and every person that comes through is a new opportunity that you wouldn't have had to build off of, to gain just that fluidness going through whatever the market is doing. Focus on amazing open houses, even if it's just putting out a couple more signs, a couple balloons, to having a couple partners come. Just think and write about how your amazing open houses are going to level up and get you more opportunities.
And with the holidays coming, there's great opportunities to have
Oh,
themed
yeah.
open houses
I
and
love open houses
I
during the
always say, like,
holidays.
this is the best time to reach out to your sphere of
Yeah.
influence because you got the holidays, so
Yes.
it's the best opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
People say, oh, we don't do open houses, Christmas or Hanukkah week. Yeah, I do. There are more
I
people that I've never met.
well, you know what? Get other realtors from other companies involved that have properties in your neighborhood and
Yeah.
do like a Jingle Bells open house, and
Oh,
have
I've
everybody
done
at the same
all of
thing.
that.
I've done that before. Um,
Caravans.
there's so many great opportunities, and we can go back and forth with so many. I mean, there's just
Oh,
so much to cover on this.
I
But
know my book keeps getting longer and longer. Every time I want to go to publish it, it just gets
then you
longer
think of
and
something
longer.
else. Well, I
Yeah.
want to thank you for doing this with us
Oh,
and
my
spending your time with
pleasure.
us today.
My
If
pleasure.
anybody wants to do any of your training with you personally or come to any of your seminars,
Yes.
I do have your information on the banner. I will post it in the chat. But how would you like to get in touch with them. And I also want to, before you say anything, congratulate you on your book coming up on open
Thank
houses.
you. Thank
So
you.
here's your promo shot.
Okay. So if anybody would like to do it's a 3 hour seminar on amazing open houses where I go into all the different categories of building amazing open houses in your business for more business. I'm going to be doing that 3 hour seminar. I'm going to be doing it next week. So I'm going to post it everywhere. If you're interested in it, you can text me on the numbers that's here, the 781-248-6069. That way I'll get it really instantly. And I'm pretty instant on follow up. If your office or you would like coaching and consulting, again, fastest way to get a hold of me is to text me. I like the text, or you can use Elevate Now Coach at Gmail. I'm super passionate about building offices and agents, and everybody is a team through amazing open houses, through business planning, through learning how to leverage business partners, how to make the most of listing and buyer presentations. You know, Vicki, I've taught all these different classes, but reach out and invest in your business because my goal is to always give more than I get. And building people's businesses in real estate, it's so much fun, and I'm really excited about it.
Oh, absolutely. And what about your book? You working on your open house book?
I'm working on my open house book, and like I said to you, every time that I think I'm ready to hit a publish button, like I come up with more and more things. So hopefully that should be coming out in the next couple of weeks. It's one of the things that I'm most passionate about because it is the one activity in real estate where new people just walk through the door, and it helps agents at all levels. So that book, I'm going to be doing a release on that coming up soon. As soon as I hit that send button on my final edit. And I've written a book on selling secrets that you can't afford to miss. And I know you too, Vicki, have been a well-published author as well in this industry with different things that you've published. So I'm super grateful to be here with you today.
Oh, I appreciate you being here. Again, anybody wants to reach out to Rosemary, her information's on the banner. I will put it in the chat for everybody. She's also go on Agents Inspiring Agents Facebook group. You'll see other things that she posts there to help everybody. Rosemary and I are firm believers to giving back to our real estate community
Yeah,
and helping people, realtors be successful and succeed in this industry. Take her up on it. Even give her a chat, text her, feel her out. I can't say enough good things about you.
thank you. Thanks,
You've helped
Vicki.
the agents in my office. You've helped me, and take her up on it. I mean, it's a
Thank
win-win
you.
situation. And she's the one coach that's in the trenches with you,
Yeah,
knowing what's going on in this industry and doing it as well, doing it with you. So it's not she's not all talk and just saying you should do this and that and that. She is
yeah,
doing
no. I'm doing it just with you guys. I'm current. It wasn't 20 years ago when I tried these things. It was probably last week.
it.
Does anybody have any questions while we're here? Because
We
I
have
am
quite a few
always
people on
happy.
here.
I'm always happy to answer questions or text me or call me.
Or
Um,
put your questions in the chat and Rosemary will see them. And
Absolutely, absolutely. It's about giving back, and I love doing it. And if one little nugget out of this helps you, then it's all worth it.
awesome. I appreciate you being here. Thank you
Thanks,
everybody for
Vicki.
tuning in, and stay tuned for more coffee talks with Vicky. I'm trying to build this channel and get other real estate professionals involved so we can help educate our community. Thank you everybody and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye, Vicki.
Bye.